This is Divine Sunshine for Divine Unisouls 11 here at the Playground Experience. I have my lovely two co hosts, Kathy D and April Williams. Tonight's topic is how the lies that the divine.
Drum roll. Oh, serious suspense.
Everybody hold and pose. Hold your breath. Clutch your pearls, April. Clutch those proverbial pearls. Yes, we divine feminists do tell lies to ourselves. We keep the going of the process of the cycle over and over and over again. Of the lies and the things that we tell ourselves that are not really our truest form or highest self of whom we are. So I'm gonna kick it over because Kathy D was the one who had pretty much had brought it up, and so I wanted to start off with her perspective because we usually do April. So we're going to let her from the mind aspect. What are some of the lies divine feminine tell themselves? Dun dun dun.
I think the biggest one and the most common one is that we're ready for union. Until we get that communication and we freeze or we trigger so hard. But I think it's those, you know, it's a false sense of safety as long as they're on the 5D. We're like, and we've all said it, oh, they're fantastic on the 5D, on the 3D, you're like, really? You know, so it's that facing them on the 3D is where one of the lies we tell ourselves. Another one is that we're healed. And I think that's an overall one because we're never fully healed. And with that being said, we were never broken. And that's the whole thing to look at. So we've got to be able to look at it from the point of view that this is an ongoing process. This isn't a quick fix, 3-step program and now you're healed. This is an ongoing thing, and it has to be something that you continuously do by yourself, in union, wherever you are, but you have to get out of that mindset that you're healed and everything should be fine.
Yeah. I would say another biggest lie that divine feminists tell themselves, it's not me that needs to work. It's all him. It's all
Mm-hmm.
messed up. He's got to get his life, get it right, get it tight. He got to get his life together. Go get your life. He got to do it, not me. And so that stops them from the process and actually taking that introspective look of actually saying what is wrong. I mean, what have I contributed to the divine master and acting the way he is? But we saying they're mirrors, but a lot of times I'm working on myself. But see, it's still his fault why he over there with the third party in the karmic situation. So to me, that is the biggest fault. I would say until yesterday, when I had the reading with K Moon, and she showed me the chart and some aspects of different astrological signs that I know of that I found it was in there, and I was like, oh my God, because I don't want to offend one of the signs, but one of the signs you all know to me is very noted for it to be kind of standoffish and aloof. So to me, when I seen that, I was like, I'll be damned. Now I see why he went running for the hills because of that sign, that aspect. They have this kind of characteristics of it. You don't really know. Like you don't. I ain't too sure what you putting out there. So when I looked at the chart and I was like, I'll be damned. I apologize. Half of this stuff is fault. Now I'm divine sunshine. I preach this stuff all day. The actual thing, I was like, oh my God, this is one aspect I had forgotten. This is me. I sent mixed signals because of this aspect I seen on the chart that brought into me. Not saying all the time that the astrological signs are, but they do give you a blueprint as to who you are. And so it let me know there go that characteristic of, I know I'm lovable. Hell, I'm divine sunshine. Why you don't love me? Why you running off to someplace else? And then when I said that, I said, I get it. No wonder he's like, I couldn't tell what was going on with you. So that's a lie that I've noticed that a lot of us say it's them. But guess
Mm-hmm.
us. It's us that got to do the work. April, what are some of the lies that you see? Uh,
Um, you know, alongside with Kathy D, the thinking we're ready or that union is what's going to make us really happy, but happiness comes from within, right?
Mhm.
Contentment comes from within. Passion comes from within. You can
mm,
be stirred from external forces, but it ultimately is driven and controlled by you. Um, what are some other lies?
that's pretty.
Um,
Yeah, too.
I hear a lot of self worth and worthiness stuff, and alongside with pushing blame comes the um, what process am I lacking is something that we're not actually asking. We're just keep packing and packing and packing on information, but we're not unpacking what we actually need to kind of get rid of and unfurl from this mindset that we're not even noticing we're having. The negative mantras, the back and forth, they're so wishy-washy, but I'm a rock. You know, it's like, no, you're going back and forth because you also aren't, we don't allow the possibility for them to return. We don't allow the space for them to come in loving us. And we think we have to be perfect and all this other stuff. I'm finding to be lies. Well, I always tell everyone because more, I am a twin flame and I am on this twin flame journey. God bless it. But I also know that I'm here to work with community overall. And I've always been saying that people lie to themselves first,
Mhm.
um, especially when they aren't self-aware. And then it's okay to be somewhat superficial, but you need to know that you're somewhat superficial. Like there's the false realms of spiritual community that want it to be all hoity-toity and fluffy and uber positive like all the time, and that's not feasible. That's not realistic. Anything that uses absolutes like always and never, it's not realistic.
Right.
And we hold ourselves to these standards which are slowly dissolving before us. So our entire universe that we know it, the world, it's the end of the world as we know it. But I feel fine.
Uh, uh,
Because I know it's about to be even better, right? Because we're now stripping it down so that our children's children and so on and so forth will continue to have this beautiful earth because they're going to be more self-aware than we are. Just as knowledge has kind of exponentially like traveled down the pathway, so does our self-awareness, so does our self-love, so does our allowing for connectedness, you know, living in integrity. And that's what we are moving toward. So,
yeah. But what I hear in what you're saying is the issue of understanding, really truly knowing their self worth. I also pick up from that. It's like a comparison. Some of the lies have been put and imposed from us from society and from social media, and we've taken on those things, maybe about how we look at ourselves, how smart we are, comparing it to other people, what society says smart is supposed to be. Some of those things we could kind of go back to childhood as well as seeing that that stems from that as a foundational thing of a lie of growing up, things that have been told to us by maybe parents or outside people or friends or foes or whatever, and we have adopted that as our own, as saying our own identity, and that's not really truly who we are at the core. It was something else you had said there too, and I and it slipped my mind and went right on out the door. What was it? But that was one thing I was noticing you were saying about just the self worth, and which we have to
I'm
kind of.
laughing because I'm learning about the fact that I'm thinking my communication is clear, and society, society, that's the wrong word.
Uh-huh.
Spirit God, you know, everybody's putting me right back on track of, okay, you're being clear, but you're missing steps, right? Because if I can tell this to somebody and then they come back with questions, guess what? I wasn't being clear. We lose impatience with others because I don't have the patience for myself to fully explain and understand myself. So why am I going to do that for you? Right?
Yep.
Why don't you get it?
And that's something we've got to be able to do when we go into union with the DM is we've got to be able, if we expect them to be vulnerable and open up and say, you know, okay, this is where I'm having problems, or these are my faults, or however you're going to look at it. These are my shadow aspects. We have to then, we can't sit there and be like, well, you know, I'm perfect. You know, no, we're not. And we've got to be able to be vulnerable back. And that's part of being vulnerable is before you can be vulnerable, you have to recognize that you have these things. And on the state of, you know, we were talking about education and how society puts that in. Some of the most brilliant people I know don't have a high school diploma. Smart shouldn't be gauged by a piece of paper on a wall. And, you know, I think so many people are sold short because of that. And that's something, one of the things that we have to get out of our own way with, and, you know, understand that everybody's, you know, intelligent in their own way. Einstein said it the best: if you tell a fish to climb a tree and he can't, then he'll, you know, have his whole life, he'll feel like he's, you know, an idiot when he was never meant to climb the tree to begin with.
Oh,
That's a
I
good
like
one.
that. Oh, you got a divine confirmation on that one. Say, yes, true. That's true. And there's certain things that divine feminines are built to be able to do, or feminines just in general, that only that masculines are able to do. It doesn't matter if they're divine or just the regular Joe. We can't expect them to do that. And I think a lot of times we have been thrown into positions where we have to play that masculine role as well, and then we don't know how to come back to being that feminine, and that's kind of instilled. That's another lie. It's like, I gotta be this, I gotta be strong, I can't be vulnerable because then they take advantage of me, and then I can't be weak because then they're gonna say I'm playing the role of damsel in distress. Oh God, come and save me, you know. And so that part we have to get to a point to understanding that, you know, that's, it's okay. You have different sides to you, and especially with us being on this twin flame journey, we have to understand that we kind of do flow. We have that fluidity to go from the feminine into the masculine things when as needed, depending on the situation, might call on us to be that, got to go into masculine role. I know even when I go shopping, sometimes I have to remind myself, although when I go out now, I put on my heels to remind myself, okay, I feel like I'm in that man where I'm hunting to go get groceries and I'm in that survival mode, but then I put my heels on to remind me, okay, you still a feminine in your masculine role while you're going to go get this stuff out here, you know, because I'm feeling like I gotta be fending for my mom and all that stuff, and it kind of throws me into the other energy. So I'll go and dress up just on purpose, put the thing on, I'll put my makeup on because I got the mask, but everything else I become girly and I have that on, and I still make myself to have that counterbalance. I don't know why Spirit has told me that, but just to remind myself to have that balance of both energies. I can say I know why. Okay, I have both energies going both at the same time. So that's just a reminder. So that's another, to me, another lie that we tell ourselves, that it's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to not have the solution, and we have to call on other people for support. That's another thing we lie about. We don't like to get, it's not okay to get support from somebody else, because now what are they going to think about me in the process? And, you know, sometimes we don't do that, reach out or seek out help because we're scared about what other people are going to think about us. The ego kicks in. And, you know, okay, then they're going to think I'm not so smart, or they're really going to find out about my shortcomings. So that's another lie to me that we tell each other as well in the whole process of things. Um, Kathy, yeah, go on, April.
I was gonna piggyback a little bit backwards on how we go into masculine and feminine,
Okay.
and we get to do so healthily. There's a trend of coupling a negative connotation or a negative aspect with a form of sexuality. and that's not accurate. Like, men aren't angry and mean. You know, if you're acting like a jerk, you're acting like a jerk. Okay. But if you need to be strong and set boundaries, you need to be strong and set boundaries. And that's also a feminine quality, right? These are the boundaries. This is the level of safety. This is where I know I can. But I also am willing to push myself beyond that. But I'm not going to break myself down and go into martyr mode, right?
Mhm.
You know, nice guys don't finish last. Nice guys finish. You know what I mean? And,
Okay.
and
I like that.
we just start with these simple changes in our languaging, starts to change how we view the world and what we experience. And that's going to be a big deal when it comes to being able to accept, because your mind has to be able to know that it's safe in order to be able to accept the change on a long-term basis, right? It's like when you're trying to work out for the first time, you're going to find every excuse. Your mind is going to give you every distraction humanly possible if you love to procrastinate, like some people I know. But once we found out, okay, we're procrastinating, now what can I do to help myself not procrastinate? Oh, I'm going to begin to work. I know I can do this. I just got to do, it's only 5 minutes. It's only 5 minutes. You know, you start off with something a little bit that encourages you and then moves you along the way. Like she was saying, I liked what you were saying earlier about I'm healed. And it's like, well, you didn't really have anything wrong with you to begin with. And you are in a process, because life is itself a process of ever changing. And so I like that. Like, there's nothing, I'm right exactly where I need to be. Oh, what a lesson this has been. Oh, I'm so excited to learn these things about myself. Oh, great. Another dark night of the soul. Dun, da, da. I'm jumping in with both heels so I can swim through this one faster than the last time. when I went all ham and everybody saw me weep on the bus or something. You know, I don't know, whatever. But it's just allowing ourselves to process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear amen from you, Kathy D. What's going on?
Just so much of it is being able to take that inventory of ourselves and to come back to that whole vulnerable piece about being able to ask for help, being able to say, I can't do this. You know, I do need help. I don't know what's going on. Or having the community and the sisterhood to say, I feel like I'm going crazy, or why did this happen? I was so close. And to have that reinforcement come in to say, you're still just as close. You know, it just opened your eyes. You haven't gone anywhere. And you have to be vulnerable to that. And you have to be open to your weaknesses and those old triggers. And I think we're really feeling it right now with all of the retrograde and everything going on. Those old triggers that we thought we dealt with from especially inner child work. I know I had a wicked one come up yesterday, just out of the blue, over a Facebook post, and I lost my mind, sobbing, crying, you know, the whole 9 yards. And it was so silly. It was self-manifested in my mind. I had played out how everybody was going to respond and never took into account that, well, nobody probably is paying it any attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those kind of things. It's those lies, those sneaky ones that we tell ourselves, especially when it comes to self-worth, you know, you know, and all of that kind of stuff. That's where we really, because we have from a young age, especially as women, have put so much emphasis on that. We've all talked about, you know, because we're assertive, or because we have a deep voice, or because that we're powerful or in a position of power at one time in our lives, we're seen very masculine. No matter if we have heels on and stuff, they still see us as that way. And we can't control how others see us, but we can control how we feel about ourselves. And that's part of that, not playing into the lies that society tells us. So that's a big part of it. Being able to filter out and like I tell my students all the time, what other people think about you is none of your business. You know you. And that's where the truth comes from. And it comes from within. It comes from that union with self.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there about the fact that we identify with sexes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because we're mammals, and there's some there. I don't know if there. I don't say that there's man. I don't want to get too deep into the science of this, so let me scoot back the other way. There are multiple forms of sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
but we identify with male and female, particularly on this journey, masculine energy and feminine energy. So we have something to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
We can, if we can bounce back and forth from the one to the like to connected in unison to the individual where we're separate identity, we can then kind of merge these two ideas together. And if there's any time where you're feeling at odds, it's because you don't know how to identify yourself with what's going on around you. And when you fully come into you, it's okay to be you. It's okay to have your ideas and your thoughts and have somebody else have their ideas and their thoughts and have them not be the same. Have them not even mesh. That's okay too. Like, people want to listen to somebody else's intuition before they listen to their own intuition. And we are given internal guidance systems for a reason. So you get to trust yourself, but you also get to see where your lens is skewed. If you have experienced a lot of abuse and you think because you see this person and that person and she's making that face or he's making that face or whatever, there's abuse in that situation, you have to realize maybe that is from my lens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not what I'm seeing. When your masculine is approaching you in a certain way, if you think it's an attack, odds are pretty good that you have that as your lens. So what's really happening? And it's okay to stop and say, I don't know what's really happening. Can you tell me how you feel? Or can you tell me what you're experiencing? And you'll start to get a gauge for it. If you're neurotically clinging to that, that's going to be a whole nother level of an issue of codependency and outward needing positive feedback or negative feedback. Some people get stuck in negative feedback loops where they're constantly seeking negativity coming at them, where they're picking fights and they're not even noticing it. And so it's our duty to be self-aware as possible, but then also to reflect when other people aren't aware. And this is how we start to get that balance of the self, where we can stop telling lies and see through to our honest to goodness highest self. And it's okay to be okay, and it's okay to feel good, and it's okay to know that things are getting better. I feel like almost like a hiccup right now. Like, a lot of people I'm talking to, we're all popping back into that bubble of a little bit of our pain body or some kind of fear or something that's kind of just sneaking back to us with the retrogrades and everything. And it's like, you want to go back into an old vice, but it's okay to be here now. It's okay for it to be weird. It's okay for you to think you're boring or be weird or not be who you thought you were. Just settle and say where you're going, where you want to go, and then what can you do in the now to get you there. I think that's part of the lie is I'm never going to get there. Part of the lie is that's for other people. It's for you too if you allow it. And how do you allow it? You got to break all the bullshit down so you can get down to that nitty gritty truth so that you can then build on that truth.
Yeah, when you're talking, I think you had brought that up as an example one time. I'm seeing it like a bow and arrow archer, and it's pulling you back into the past. You can be able to slingshot to go forward. They're showing me into where you need to do or to be. I'm also seeing that they're pulling you back into that old thing. It's like to really make sure that you have covered it and gotten rid of it. You've got to go back there. Again, that goes back to the lies you're telling yourself. I didn't cover that. I ain't got nothing else to be healed. We straight. And you have to go back into that. Why it's coming up It's not like, oh, where did this come up from? It's like it's still down in there. You have
Mm-hmm.
not gotten rid of it. You thought you did, but you didn't like a nice, like some people cleaning up and they just do like a real clean fast. I'll just take my, sometimes I do that. Take the little Swifter duster and just dust. Okay, that's cute. It got some of the dust off, but you know what? How about go and get you some furniture polish and actually wash down the stuff, the furniture, and then that's just a surface level clean. It looks nice when company come over, but is it really truly clean? Have you gotten rid of all of the germs, whatever's been lingering there? And that's what that process is doing right now. We got all these, like you talked about, the energies and the planets that's going on, and I spoke on this before, that you have all these planets really pushing you and saying, we've got to take a look before we go on to the next level. I told you right now in May, again, this is dress rehearsal. Everything we're finding out what players we want to stay in there, which ones we want to get rid of, again, is helping us prepare for June, because June is going to be it. It's something about some action of love that's going to be happening in June. It just keeps on telling me that over and over again, tell them so they know. So in order for us to really truly have unconditional love in every aspect of our lives like that, we got to go back to April 7th. We got to get rid of the bullshit. You can't keep on bullshit away about a lot of the stuff that you know that you have not handled. And you talk about, I got a good relationship with my
I'm
mom.
a happy person, though. I just say love and light everywhere I go. That's all I see. Don't you understand? I fart rainbows. It smells like roses in here after I ate the can of beans and cabbage. You know what I'm saying?
And the Oscar goes to April Williams for her role as the downtrodden, in denial, divine feminine. There you go.
Can you smell? Thank you. I love being in self-denial. I've just given it up recently, so it really does kind of stink in here. Can someone please mail me some incense?
Right on down the rabbit hole, right with Kathy D. We went right on down. But that is the issue that we're dealing with, and that's why the energies is like no more playing. You can't play with the universe. You can't play with the planetary shifts and the forces and stuff like that. You can lie to yourself, but you can't hide. Like Teddy P said, you can't hide from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are. So everywhere you go, there you are. You can't hide. You just can't. Teddy P said it right. Hide. You can't run. You can't do nothing. So you might as well go into surrender, especially like we said earlier. We've been a divine feminine that can work to our advantage because feminines are able to surrender better than the divine masculines. They have that energy too, but they got to tap into it. So why won't you use that to your advantage? You can't do anything about it. Just surrender to the process so you can go on and do that.
You better choose to do it, or else the universe is going to force you to do it.
Right.
We were talking about cleaning house, right? You can do the duster. I used to say, oh, you know what? We'll make this real clean, a nice coat of fire. And if you do not do the deep cleaning, the universe will come back and give you a nice coat of fire. And we're going to have some Phoenix type shit, which is fine. That rising from the ashes is great. It's empowering. But you know what you had to do to go through that?
Right.
They did to do controlled burns in Yosemite and stuff to try to combat doing massive fires. So like maybe in Australia, because they have a fire ecology, there's something to it, right? That's why they have the fires. But if they prevent the fires for so long, there's so much material now left that needs to get burned off. Where in your life is this material that you're avoiding and accumulating and just walking over that any match can suddenly trigger a fire? Okay, a huge, massive, continental, earth-shattering fire, right?
And that's a good point with those fires, because they burn out of control. And that's what happens when we get in these situations. And as you're talking about being pulled back, a lot of times we're just pulled back. Sometimes to be shown, see how far you've come, and see now how far you have still, to go, and how it's going to propel you forward. But when it burns and rages out of control, then innocent things and people get engulfed into that. that, you know, if you would take your own time and work on that. My grandmother had a housekeeper one time. She was with the family forever, but she asked her when she interviewed, do you want square cleaning or round cleaning? And my grandmother said, what's the difference? And she said, well, if you want me to move things and clean in the corners of the room, that's square cleaning. But if you want me just to clean around things, that's round cleaning. So you have to ask yourself, are you doing square cleaning or are you doing round cleaning?
I
Oh,
like that. I like that a lot.
write that down, April. Write that down.
I got it. I can't find nothing to write on. I got me a crayon.
Now you sound like me.
With a red crayon too. That's urgent. That's what I mean. Urgent. That's urgent right there.
Square cleaning.
No round. Yeah.
No round cleaning.
No round. That's a good. You brought that on home. You took my thing to a whole new level with that, Kathy. All right, we can end the show right there. No,
we got some shit to clean.
Yeah, we gotta go clean. I gotta go get my Swiffer out. Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, we're gonna let the last part of this. You're gonna watch you clean, do some square cleaning.
Now, here's the deal: when you're cleaning, when you're going through your houses and you are cleaning each, you got to go attic and basement for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the places you avoid the most.
Back to closets.
That also means how you take care of your body, what you input into your body.
Mm-hmm.
Subtle things like, are you blessing your food? Are you taking the time to acknowledge the water that's clean and purified for you to drink? Are you accepting and acknowledging that you even have a house to clean?
Right, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to that point.
And these little bits of gratitude are what's going to pull you through those really dark, murky stuff when you're like, why am I in this attic? Who put this box here? This is my great-great-great-grandfather's box. And it's full of his shit, but somehow I still have to deal with it. Yes. And that's okay. That's a beautiful part of it. And acknowledging that it's not even your box, so it's actually easier to get rid of.
Right.
But don't forget to look through it, because there might be some stuff you do want to take with you and keep as a cherished keepsake.
Right.
And so there's a lot of just purging, and it sounds easier than it is when we're making all these fun little metaphors, but it's going to get hairy, and you need a buddy. This is a buddy system time. If you're going in a spiral and you need someone to help pull you out of the spiral, just nudge you back into who you are. Trusted confidant. Anchor a song, that favorite song that made you feel loved and cherished. You know, whatever it is that's going to help carry you through looking at it. First you're looking at it, then you're feeling it, and you're processing it. You know, and sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's easy to filter through that stuff because you've been through it a million times. I was addicted to this story I kept telling myself about some childhood pain or wound. But you know, I'm really ready to let it go now. And so even if you do hear about it, or somebody said, hey, you know what I found on the street? And it sounds so much similar to your story. You're like, yeah, but my story is gone. And that's okay. And that story will never be repeated for anyone. That energy cycle doesn't have to keep going. And as within, so without, you know, like we thought we were rid of stuff with, what's his name? Oh, man, just had it on the tip of my tongue. Rich guy selling young women, killed himself in jail. In jail.
Lord have mercy.
Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bill Gates done claimed up and down that he didn't know this man, and now they're like, we have reports of several meetings. Here's basically pictures of them hugging, trading girls on yachts. No, I'm just kidding. That's not accurate. But more. But I'm saying everything as within, so without. If we voluntarily, as our twin flame, loving selves, go through our house, our twin gets that, our society gets that. If we're willing to look at that scary, nasty shit that nobody wants to talk about, like the eating disorders, the hurting yourself or hurting others, you know, different styles of abuse, emotional, mental, physical, and stuff that's just passed down, even negative mindsets towards the self, even how society has programmed us to think that we need XYZ to be.
True.
We don't. We only need ourselves. But we do enjoy things. If you love putting on makeup, girl, and taking that time and doing that, that's your style and that's your beauty and that's beautiful.
I feel
So
bad.
you appreciate that and value that about you. But you're not going to impose that on somebody else for them to be considered valuable or beautiful. That's for you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't do that, you get to understand that you're not any less because you didn't do that. So there's all kinds of balancing and rechecking and checks and balances that we get to go through. And remember, let's choose to walk to this hand in hand and reach out. I suggest joining the Sunshine Circle or Jupiter 1111's Prayer Academy. There's a forum, Divine
Divine
Pisces.
222's forum.
That's one too as well.
Out there.
Yeah, a lot of resources. And then you also have, I've added on my WIC also app with Divine Unisouls. It's got 3 groups that you can be members of through there. Become a member of that. And then you have one that's the Sunshine Circle if you want to just talk out. And I put different prompts up there of things that either channel messages or things just to question to see where you are. I also have the playground. So after this, if you have either April Williams or Kathy D or myself, if there's something on this and you say, hey, I want a question about the video and I want to kind of go a little bit more in depth about that. What do you mean by this? Or this is what I experienced. What's your take? You can go also to there and, plug in and we can talk there as well. But, we're also having Fridays, although we're jumping to the end, but I'm just saying it since we're rolling. Friday, we have our own Q&A, and that's another way of you can get together for us to answer questions or have that synergy and exchange of energies from one divine feminine and one divine masculine to another. So you have a lot of support. My thing is that, I just want to make sure that you're getting the right energy being plugged in and fed to you, because there's a lot of other groups that they come in, and I know I've had that on Facebook, and I've said this for the longest. I got to get rid of this because this energetically, you're plugging into me. I'm seeing myself like an octopus, like the Matrix, and they're plugging into me, and I was like, this ain't even my energy, this ain't even my speed, the way you all talk in these groups. And I was like, if I get another notification about you and a DM and I'm out of here and this is a lie and I don't know how they thinking about and all that stuff, and I was like, I got to go. They start off like it is like, okay, just share your energies with a positive thing, and when the end up is just one negative thing after another, after another, after another.
And that's people just getting addicted to that cycle, right? You want to shift out of that. If you find that you're still in that same gear that you want to shift out of, you need to shift groups. You need to shift who you're communicating with.
Right, right.
Are the 5 people that you hang out with most. That's what they say, right? So 3 of those people should be God, you, and yourself, and I, right? So mostly your influence should really be you and your intuition. At this point, cultivating your intuition and knowing who to feed, who feeds you, who you feed, and what is left for fodder for others, or just as out processing overall, right? Right. It's okay to be that whistleblower that says, y'all full of shit. Y'all just sitting here talking in circles, complaining. Who's actually benefiting from this? If you pose a question and they can't answer, then clearly it's time for you to change space.
Right. And it becomes a pity party. Everybody's just changing the same pities over and over again. It's like,
oh, that's addictive. It's making me tired to think about it, like little kids.
It does.
It does.
Get out of this. I don't know why. Why did I join? Oh, I thought maybe I can help. No, it's almost like I'm getting in there trying to help them, and they drowning, and they pushing me all down. It's like, I want to stay in the pity. And I'm like, I can't breathe, dang it. I'm trying to save you. No, I can't do that anymore. And
that's an old paradigm too thing. That's a lie saying that we need to sacrifice ourselves for others to be happy. That we don't. We really just need to set our boundaries and allow ourselves to be joyous where we are.
Right. And that's, again, what the energies are set up for. We've got to get rid of those things that serve and those things that do no longer serves us anymore. And it's really backing us up to make sure that we really get in alignment with that, with our truest self, and living with integrity with that. If we're not doing that, then it's going to get pushed for you. Rather, you're going to get the nice square clean. You're not going to get the circle clean. You can forget that. Or the fire burn, baby, burn. That's the only two options that you got. Right. The tower or the hard tower. One want to knock you off your ass tower. So which one you want? It depends on which way how you surrender into that divine feminines on that part.
Called right now. Spirit saying, everybody, let's just take a deep breath together. We're going to put some energy out towards each other. It feels almost like a chi ball, like an energy ball shooting out of my hands and out of my solar plexus towards everybody. Push out their energy, their solar plexus energy. We're not taking in any energy today. Today we're only I guess we will. We'll be taking it in from the universe, from the earth, and bring us in the now, and our energy is stronger than those outside influences. We are the guidance. We hold the vibration. And yes, other things may come at us, but our power is stronger. Together, we know that we were brought here by the great I Am to be. So let us see what we are here for. Anchor in that peace, anchor in that love, anchor in that connection. Oh, here we go. I feel like I'm dipping into some sweetness here, some cultivating our own richness. Ooh, the earth, she stirs us. The spirit inspires us. God guides our footsteps, and we are covered in righteousness. Oh, other influences, they're trying, but they're not getting, right? You are still. You are here. You are powerful. And breathe. Here we go. Tap your hands. Tap your heels, I mean. Clap your hands. Oh, that felt really yummy. All right. Here we go. We only need we could sit there. I could sit there with you guys. I could grow that. But I think that I can feel, can you feel everyone connecting to themselves, anchoring into themselves, strong in themselves? This fear culture coming at us, y'all, trying to silence us.
Oh, and I get the chills. I get goosebumps.
It's not happening. It's not. They got nothing on us right now. Can't touch that. Yeah. You can try to break my phone, but
can't touch this. Cannot do that. Let me. I gotta get another one of the rainbows, Mr. Brown. That's all right. Let me do this very quickly.
You look beautiful, by the way, Kathy.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Christina knows she looked good.
I thought it was because, we were talking earlier about the curls and everything that she had all done up and they look good. And
yes.
You are glowy, baby.
Yeah. Yes, she is. And that's funny.
I try to imagine you doing something like super sultry, and you're like, when you flipped your hair, I imagined you on a boat, like the wind, and then all of a sudden the boat picks up speed, and she's just like,
You've been down in the Keys with me. You know what that looks like then. Good grief, yeah. Yeah, with all the curls, I come off looking, a little frizzier with the salt hair, but.
Yeah, the door. Clear.
They call that doomy hair, right?
Well,
Mr. Universe.
Mm.
Oh,
Okay,
before you pull a card, I want to kind of throw out there too to everybody that as they're working through this, and there's so much going on, so much energy, be mindful to shield yourself and things while you're doing your chakra work. It is so vital, because there are some really wicked toxins that are coming out of your body right now, and it needs to be a smooth, and I think kind of almost like a fluid process. And if you're not protecting yourself, sometimes you can get some really bad side effects. So I'm just going to kind of
It's
throw
like
that out there.
tide, right? Like when the wave comes in, it pulls back, right?
And you can't swim against it. You have to swim with it. And if anybody that's ever grown up around the ocean, you know you have to swim with it. You might wind up 5 miles down shore, but you're nowhere near as tired as if you swam straight into that wave. And that's exactly it.
Or
Yeah,
like
that's
we're talking in liquid metaphors, like because we're bodies of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Water is attracted to itself. So if you're releasing something, you need to let that go and then fill it in with some light and love and watch that other thing, because you can attract the same thing in a slightly different form if you are not careful or paying attention or following your intuition.
Right.
I mean, because we do have that cyclical nature. We do attract the like until we resonate at a different frequency when we contract differently.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes good stuff is just right there, right for you as well. You can trust yourself. You can trust your guides. You can trust God. You know that angels are on your side. Anyway. Yes.
forgot I said even when we did the sunshine circle, I forgot it told me to tell you all to drink water too at the end of that thing. It kept on saying about water. Wasn't very influenced, especially when you're doing all that kind of cleansing and stuff. Water, it helps to also like had a mentor. She told me like the water was like a body of Christ. So you're taking in that life, that new energy in. It's also a purification as well. So you have your water. That's another way of a symbolism, this saying, this cleansing as well. The things that they said that we've got to work on as far as divine feminines and these lies that we're telling ourselves, we got to surrender to low self-esteem. That pretty much came out a lot when I said, right. You deserve success, love, and abundance, setting intentions to identify and release any remnants of self-esteem. And it's got the sunflower there as well, which is also a divine twin flame symbolism as well. And so in order for you to get the sun, you got to remember, to me, I think about the sun card in the tarot, that you deserve everything under the sun. But you gotta, to me, like the sunflower, you gotta blossom and open, which means it's stages, just like the seed. And it's got to open different layers to you to remember that you are owed, or you deserve, or that's your birthright to have whatever thing underneath the sun. They said also some life changes that's got to occur is we have to have courage. We got to transform into being that courage. That's interesting. Got the purple here color, so that means the crown chakra is very involved with that, and it's got a little bit of blue right there in the body part. So how we communicate it, whether it's verbal or non-verbal, is very imperative. That, and it's got little traces of yellow, so that means that courage really. That's interesting that they didn't have the yellow, which is our solar plex, be the major color. They made sure the crown had did that. So again, we're getting downloads, we're getting that intuition, that awareness is bringing us to kind of program us so we can be able to stand in our power in our solar plexus as to, and be able to communicate that bridge, to be able to manifest that as well. Some things that we got to work in as far as in our divinity is understanding joy. A lot of us is a little scared of that, about that following our bliss, becoming in rhythm with our bliss. That's interesting. It's got all these colors here. You got green, which is your heart chakra, your yellow, your solar plex, and you got orange, your sacral. That means how you are creatively manifesting those things, how you being able to relate to others as well to that, standing in your power, and how you're opening those things too as well. And it's understanding it's got lights here too. To me, when you see lights, that's again how you energy interacting and making that in the atmosphere charged, so that these things, so you can be able to follow your bliss. But you also have to come in union. Notice it's a feminine and the masculine there. So again, together they have to move with the same movement or energy right here. They're really close. So this merging, this a coming together of both the energies within. And that's how you're going to be that balance to be able to find your joy and your bliss. But they also said, we talked about this too, we got to do that shadow work, that shadow aspect as well to get into that. Understanding that, although they got this in like a cage here, but understanding that it's a certain part, that shadow, I think about also, those aspects of shadow and light you're gonna have with you always. You can cage it up and act like it's not there and feed it when you like you want to feed it, it's eating time, but at the same time, that lion is still there at the zoo. When you pass by, it's still gonna let you know, hey, rah, it's feeding time. So to me, when I look at this, it's just like, be able to have that balance between the two of them, but then also have control over it at the same time. So I'm seeing she's being very relaxed, very open to that. So again, the shadow aspects, we've got to be able to deal with those things too. And then it said this codependency. Now, interesting, when I see this codependency, I think about the ideology that other people put on, like, um, some of them might say, "Oh, you should be married." What's taking you like? Well, that's not me. I don't have friends to say that, but this is pretty much the way that people society think of. This is like the institution. What things to the system that you're married to, like a ball and chain, to that code, and then you're codependent on those ideas. This could be also the old-fashioned thing. You're codependent of seeing that this other person is also your bliss. This is your center. Like when he comes together, everything is going to be, chocolate and roses and candy and champagne and all that stuff when he comes into too. So this codependency, what things are you upon in order for you to have life? So we've got to work on those things, divine feminine. So those are the things that they brought to our attention from source and from the guidance team that we had to. Did you have anything that you wanted? I felt somebody felt like they's like, oh, I want to add on to that. Did you see anything?
It's there was something there. When we're stepping into the shadow work willingly, so we're not going to be surprised that we have a shadow. We all have shadows. Don't be brand new with the, oh, where did you come from? And Peter Pan was the only one I know who could detach his shadow. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay.
He really wasn't in touch with the world. I'm just saying, he had his own fantasy land, and he could detach his shadow and run away from it. Outside of that, you get to look at it. You get to know that it's there, but you also know how to stand so that it's not as big, so it's not as scary, so it's not as intimidating, and you are deserving. You're beloved. You're here. You're beloved. So know that on the other side, you are still beloved. No, there's nothing you can put your partner through or do with your partner that will push them away. But you have to be realistic about what you would do for you.
Mm-hmm.
We put up with a lot of stuff from other people that we wouldn't put up from with ourselves. And also the vice versa. Sometimes we run away from people because they're in a place that we were. So we get to kind of acknowledge these spaces and acknowledge our boundaries. And we can do this together safely and in love, and in integrity. And if you need to cool off it for a hot minute and just laugh, that's okay too. You don't constantly need to be working and doing the work. It's got to be fun as much as it can be serious, In fact, I'd say it'd rather be more fun than serious.
Yeah. Now, I know I ask that all the time when I ask for towels. I say, if it can be fun as possible, let it be that way, and I still get the answer. I do ask my angels and guides that. Can you just make it as fun as possible? I'm going to do it, but then, if you can, just make it fun on that one. So we are getting to the point we're wrapping it up. So Kathy D, what are your final thoughts? You started it off, so back to you.
Well, I want to share a meditation with you guys that I was just taught this morning, actually, by my 14-year-old. And if you have ever had a chance to sit down and talk with a child that their gifts are coming online and listening to how they are perceiving things, and you go from being the teacher to the student, and it was literally, I think we sat there for like almost 2 hours this morning watching the sun and stuff, and I was just like, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. But she talks about a meditation that she started doing after one night. She couldn't sleep and she was just staring in the mirror and just kind of making faces, you know, girls and all that fun stuff. And she went in and she said she cleared her mind and she did the square breathing, 4 in, hold it for 4, release for 4. And then she remembered from a meditation she had done and heard a guided meditation. She did the inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 10. And so she drug it out. Well, then she sees her shadow. It's like her shadow self. And she said she's standing in her room. She imagines she's standing in her room and her shadow's sitting on her bed. But she's sitting in front of her, or standing in front of her full-length mirror, and her 5D self, and that is exactly her words, her 5D self is in the mirror, like doing other things. You know, she's either putting on makeup or, you know, she's doing her hair or whatever. And she literally has a conversation with those 3 over a topic. And so she says she listens to the negative come out. You know, nobody wants to listen to you. Nobody wants to hear your ideas. You're only 14. And then she says her higher self steps in and then says, but you have these good ideas and you follow your intuition and you know what to do and you know how you're guided. And so literally she has this 3-way conversation with those 2. And that's kind of like what you were saying. Don't be afraid of that shadow self. That shadow self is there to protect you. It works real well with your ego because it pulls you back from maybe when your intuition's not kicking in and people that don't have the best interest in you or for you, it kind of pulls you back and kind of, you know, that whole shut up, come here, shut up, you know, and that's the time that those shadow selves are good. So you don't want to completely get rid of them, but you want to be able to meet them, know they're there, acknowledge that they have a use, just like our ego, and then also know to learn to listen to your 5D self. But it was fascinating to hear how she has a 3-way conversation. And it reminded me of the little cartoons with the little devil and the angel on the shoulders. And because she was like, that's what it was like. So, and I tried it. And at first it was kind of hard for my adult brain with all the other stuff going on to do it. But when I picked a topic, you know, hers is, you know, she's 14, so it's a lot more random. But when I picked a topic and could go in and listen then to, you know, the negative voices and understand what those were there for, and then listen to my 5D self and saying, and this is why you need to know these things, and this is why this is going to turn out like it is. And you take all of that into yourself then, and you bring that into your union. It's an amazing way to understand a lot of your fears and shadow selves, those, you know, attics and basements that nobody wants to clean. But when you put a brand new light bulb in there, they're not as scary. And that's kind of what that is. So.
And then I'm like, until I break the light bulb with my mind.
Well, that would be my daughter, but you know, or she's swinging from it, going wee.
I'm gonna play with that. Thank her very much for sharing that with us. That was so cool.
That is cool. That is cool. I did that as a cover of one of my videos there too, where the guys in the middle has those 2. So I knew exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I will try that.
It is. It's fascinating. Now, and for her, it's just a simple meditation anymore. She can just go in and out of it. But she's also never been stopped. You know, I've always encouraged it. You know, when she did tell me that these things were coming in, I was like, that's fantastic. What, you know, what else? What can, you know, tell me more, tell me more. And the other thing is, other people want to label her because she does have ADHD. And I just want to throw this out there. If you are with anybody or around anyone that has anything like that, never call it a disability. It's a superpower. And if you spend enough time with children and people like that, it is a superpower. And we need to start relabeling those things and getting some of that negativity out of their lives. Because trying to be normal when you're extraordinary, it is very hard. And these kids have it hard enough that we need to start encouraging them that, they have superpowers.
And we can encourage ourselves as well.
Yes.
If we don't get to have the lovely Kathy D being our mommy and telling us that we're freaking out, allow yourself to hear what you hear and feel what you feel and see what you see. Like if you talk to plants, you talk to plants. If you hear animals and they communicate with you, guess what? It's happening. Enjoy.
And it's amazing and wonderful, and show gratitude for it. Oh, please, always, any of those gifts, always show gratitude. Even if you think that you're losing it, show gratitude, and they'll show you more understanding.
Yes, most definitely. I've always the Native American way of everything, and I said that even on my channel one time. Also, how the gratitude of how we swap atoms even with inanimate objects, and how we give them life back and forth, and so they do in some ways do have life, and so that's why Americans believe in honoring the tree, the grass, everything like that helps. I got confirmation with that. So that helps us too as well. It gives us unconditional love. It gives us empathy. It shows us in all different kinds of ways how we can do that. However, I have a correction, April Williams. We can have Kathy D. You know how we can have Kathy D? Through the playground experience.
Yes.
So yes, you can. If you do want Kathy D to play your mom for a certain amount of time, if that helps you to heal and have those breakthroughs too, you can go to divineunisource11.co to be able to get the playground experience. You get experience from all three of us. Beautiful segue. For myself, I'll give you the spiritual readings just like this. Also, Kathy D will be play your mom for the day. And then you'll have with her getting into your mind and thinking about what practical ways that she can be able to make that shift in your mind. And you also have the beautiful April Williams that can say, okay, where's that housed in your body? How can we clear that energy from you and give you nice meditations as well to be able to do that? So go to divineunisource11.co and get the playground experience as well. You pick the topic, we build the program around what you need at that time. All right, let's go through it at the end. So now let's go back to, and then again, back to, get that off of here. Where you going? It's going around and around. You hit my nerve. Okay, there we go. The shadow came out, didn't it? See, I just shadow. There we go. See, I'm just divine feminine all over self. So I'll pull myself back. I did need that. They helped me know that time was up. So now, pineapplefishlifecoaching.com. You got your beautiful Kathy D. If you want her services as well to help you again with that practical living, help to change your mind. She didn't wake up just one day and say, I want to do this. She does have a background and certificate in cognitive behavior, and she's got all that other neuro things, the science that she has studied as well. So she can help you out with that. You also have, what is Golden? I don't want to mess it up. Golden, what is your company again? Golden?
My company's just the Golden Life. It's a lifestyle company.
I want to call it Golden Incorporated. I keep on seeing you like an army of people that's with you. So I don't know where this is going from, but I always see.
Well, thank you for the confirmation. I'm a community building company. The whole point, I think about it. I have a beautiful baby boy. He's on some of the other videos. He likes to come hang out with us, share the love. He's a super, super intuitive child.
Yes, he is.
The world is really for the children. It's not, it's as much as it is for us, it's more for them and then our children's children and so on and so forth. And so how do we make the world a better place? Well, we live life golden. So I know that you're made for this golden life. So come hit me up. Let's do this. Let's spread this love. Let's work through what you need to work through. I have a heavy science background, and I studied a lot of different religions, but I'm Christian and work in that Christos energy. That's why it's so easy for me to tap in, because when we go through that, it's a beautiful space. So come and join me at madeforthisgoldenlife.com. You can also, support our beautiful, wonderful host who is doing the most right now.
I'm going to
Brian's
background. Yes, Divine Unisouls 11.co. So if you want any readings, anything about past lives, not past lives, well, I do that, but any loved ones that have passed over, and you want messages from them as well. The support group again, Sunshine Circle, go to Divine Unisouls 11.co. That is $11.11. We meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of the week. I do many readings, we do meditations, we do also journaling, we do everything. We support you through this process, and we help you to, as April said, get out of your story. So you tell it, and then we kind of again tell you, okay, now let's add some solutions and let's put some good stuff in place of that story that you had told. Also, go to my Wick app as well. If you like the conversation that we have here and you still have some questions, you can go there to the Wick app for Divine Unisouls 11. I'll have that posted, or you can go to my community board as well. And there's a group called the Playground Experience. Right there, you can post your questions that you have for Kathy D or April Williams or myself about the topic that we talked about, or even past topics as well. So you get that. And then also the Sunshine Circle. If you need support, you're going through something and you just need that help, either one from the community can also share there as well. And then also I have a thing, if you have any things of messages the spirit has told you and you're like, I don't want to do the YouTube channel, that's not my forte, that's not my ministry, but you also want to add something that you believe that could be helpful for us about this topic that we talked about, you have also a place there to put your messages there as well. All right then, ladies, let's go. Miss Kathy D, you start us out, so sign us and get us on out of here. So
Well, join us Friday night. Bring your buckets and your shovels and your flip flops for the sandbox. And always wishing you the best life ever. And see you soon.
right, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, 12:30 Hawaiian Standard Time. Thank you. I forgot all about that. All right.
2:30 PST. That's 2:30 PST. So stay blessed, stay golden.
And then, as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended, Nama. Stay Nama go. And mwah, love you. All right. Until the sandbox time on Friday, we'll see you there. All right. And
Aloha.
there you go.